All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we are continuing our series into the mysteries of the unexplained, and we are still in the chapter Beyond the Walls of Time. The present, ladies and gentlemen, is our only point of reference for the past and for the future, and our awareness of any happening that must obviously occur somewhat after the actual event itself. What then are we to make of the time warp that allows some people to prophesy that which will happen in the future? Anomalies and coincidences are related phenomena in that they are both departures from the expected time frame. That some prophecies do come true, that anomalies of many kinds exist, and that coincidences abound. Yet, the as yet fathomless mystery is what force or forces are powerful enough to bring them into being. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a kitten right in front of us, as you can see. She likes to make videos, I guess. She's a video kitten. But we are in the section talking about prophecies and synchronicities and many things of the like. So let us continue. Prophecies, biblical prophecies fulfilled was where we started. The contest of oracles. The Oracle of Delphi, a priestess traditionally known as the Pythoness, exercises her magical powers, having put herself under a spell by inhaling fumes and chewing laurel leaves. Now, we found often this ability to foretell or prophesy the future. I mean, future events seems to be directly related to altered states of consciousness or being in a certain state of consciousness, whether it be a mystical or however caused, can allow some sort of connection to the ether or, an information field or some sort of download from said field of information. And we looked at some of the prophecies of Nostradamus. And now, today, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the intermediate present and Mark Twain's dream. Mark Twain's dream, the maxim Mark Twain scrawled beneath this 1897 photograph of himself, reveals his celebrated humor. The writer was deeply interested in psychical phenomenon. Be good, you will be good, and you will be lonesome, he says. How funny. But the intermediate present. Most theories of prophecy concentrate on what are professed to be ambiguities and uncertainties in our conventional notion of what the future is, and claim that the future either unfolds in or coexists with the present. A somewhat novel approach to the problem, focusing on ambiguities, is what we call the present. Was proposed in 1934 by H.F. Saltmarsh. What do we mean? Well, Saltmarsh begins by pointing out that what we conventionally name the present, right now, is nothing of the kind. For when we perceive something, the fall of a leaf or the prick of a pin, we regard our perception and what it reveals as occurring simultaneously in time. But sensory impressions do not occur all at once. We feel the pinprick an instant after it actually happens. And the leaf touches the ground an instant before we register the landing, before our consciousness or our, sensory input information takes it all in. For in addition to the time it takes for the sensory impressions to reach our brain is the time it takes our brain to process the signals when they arrive. Thus, based on Saltmarsh's proposal, our perception of any happening is inevitably a bit later than any event itself. Consequently, we have two different kinds of the present. Talking about time, ladies and gentlemen, and beyond the walls of time. And this is very fascinating. For us here, what I'm usually focused on this channel is seeking to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, through a greater awareness and understanding of the nature of ourselves and psychology and spirituality and just the nature of reality, simply. But this bit about the present, the future, and the past often desires and hopes or worries about the future and many things of the like about the past, as well as what can so often cause us the opposite of, simply put, happiness in our life. And so taking a look at this in this way can maybe give us a new perspective that we can hopefully enjoy our lives and at least have a little bit more joy and happiness, peace, positive experience, quality of life. Now, with that being said, let's get back here to this bit about the intermediate present. Because based on Saltmarsh, whoever this guy, H.F. Saltmarsh, who proposed this theory in 1934, based on his ideas, our perception of any happening of the present right now is actually a little bit off. Perception of any happening is inevitably a bit later than the actual event itself. So are we ever chasing just a moment behind the real present? Or does that put the future in fluctuation? When this comes to prophecy or manifesting and creating for yourself, I think this has a role to play. However, the interval between these two presents might well be considered a third level or an intermediate present, in which events can occur or begin to occur. See, that goes to the manifesting. We can further conjecture that it is in this third level of time that certain people receive intimations or information of the future, glances, glimmers, because all transitions take time. We can hardly suppose that the contents of the immediate present pass into our awareness intact or unchanged. We can therefore say that the intermediate present, like the real present, is unavailable to ordinary consciousness. So going back to what we started with, the laurel leaves and the fumes in the caves of the oracle. And this giving the opportunity to connect to this intermediate present, this field of available information. Like the real present, it is unavailable to ordinary consciousness, and that its contents can never quite be the same as those of our normal awareness. It is in this neither area or ether area, the book calls it a nether area. It is in this nether area between an event and the perception of an event that precognition, prophecy, or maybe even creation of a will, of something desired through power of mind and manifestation, ladies and gentlemen. Now we bring ourselves to Mark Twain's dream. Just a short little bit here, and we'll see what the story is about, being in the mysteries of the unexplained. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you being here. I found this book when my grandfather passed away. There were some things that each of us kids took from the house there, and me being who I am, found some interesting books, among other things. But as I was looking over this, a few pages in, I found these little descriptions of things, just like we went through there, describing the intermediate present. And we've described synchronicities before. And here's a description of the dimensions of time. But we'll save that for a future video. But so when I seen these and read some of them, I was like, wow, I think the people that enjoy the content I already make would enjoy these interesting descriptions of such things as synchronicities and the intermediate present and the dimensions of time and a lot of stuff like that. I mean, really, I'm just here to share what I'm interested in to hopefully somebody who's also interested in the same thing, because I guarantee if you're here, you go out in life and try to share with people the things you're interested in. And the amount of, returned interest is very minimal. And so I often wondered, where are the people that I could actually share these thoughts and opinions with that would actually listen and have an interest in similar subjects, so it's not just mumbo jumbo to them because they're worried about the football game. That it doesn't mean that I don't like football games, but I'm just saying, like, example there. However, now, Mark Twain's dream, ladies and gentlemen. In the late 1850s, young Mark Twain and his brother Henry worked together on the riverboats, then playing the Mississippi between St. Louis and New Orleans. One night during a stay at his sister's house in St. Louis, Twain had an unusually vivid dream. In it, he saw his brother's. The cat will never give up. He saw his brother's corpse lying in a metal coffin in his sister's sitting room. The coffin rested on two chairs, and a bouquet with a single crimson flower sat there. A single crimson flower. Might it be a rose? At its center had been placed on Henry's chest. When Mark Twain awoke, he was quite convinced that his brother had died and was lying in the sitting room. So he dressed, thought of visiting, but decided to take a walk first. He left the house and had gone about half a block before he realized that he'd been dreaming. I mean, how many of us have done this where it's not till a little bit later you're like, oh yeah, that didn't actually happen. I mean, normally for me it's just really mundane things, but oh yeah, that was just a dream. And so he then returned and told his sister about the dream. A few weeks later, Twain and his brother were together in New Orleans, but took different boats back to St. Louis. Henry's passage was on the Pennsylvania, whose boilers exploded not far from Memphis, killing many people. Henry was badly injured and taken in great pain to Memphis, where he ended up, unfortunately, passing a few days later. Although most victims of the accident were buried in wooden coffins, a number of Memphis women, moved by pity for the young man, raised money to provide a metal coffin. Thus, when Mark Twain came to say his last farewells, he found the body lying in a metal coffin, just as it had been in his dream. The bouquet, however, was missing. But as Twain stood beside the body, a woman entered and placed on Henry's chest a bouquet of white flowers. At its center was the single red rose, or the crimson flower, from his dream. Is this precognition? Is this a premonition? Was this some sort of accidental prophecy? I don't like the stories that have to do with the loss of somebody. But for this book, that seems to be some of the examples that they think are the most powerful. But, ladies and gentlemen, is this an effect of the intermediate present? And going beyond the walls of time and seeing the future? Have you ever had a dream and then that dream became a reality? Well, I love that question because I think that's something that we should contemplate. I think that is something that we should contemplate, ladies and gentlemen. And next time, we will look at the dimensions of time. Next time we return back to this book in the Mysteries of the Unexplained, ladies and gentlemen. I am not sure where I put my bookmark. But that's fine. For now, we will use our C60 Power flyer. If you haven't discovered C60, give yourself a great favor and look it up because it is considered by scientists to be the most powerful antioxidant ever discovered. Nobel Prize winning. That's all I'm going to say. The rest will explain itself. In the future, we'll be looking at such things as coincidences that seem to be mysteries of the unexplained, as well as much, much more, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. The gigantic size of this skull from the Lovelock Cave area, on display along with artifacts and photographs at the gravesite at the Humboldt Museum, mystifies all who see it. It's a giant skull. Can't say exactly how big. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. In Nevada, they'd removed several carloads of guano when they came upon some Indian relics. Soon afterward, a mummy was also found, and weirdly enough, it was that of a 6.5 foot tall person with distinctly red hair. According to the legends of the local Paiute Indians, a tribe of red-haired giants, the Sitachas, were once the mortal enemies of the Indians in this era. Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know was known so long ago, but that the Vikings were here long before our history books will tell us that. And we have the evidence right there before us in the mysteries of the unexplained. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I love and appreciate each and every one of you that spends time here with me on this channel. Time is our most valuable asset as well as attention. So the fact that you would spend your time and attention here means a lot to me, and I appreciate you. And hopefully I added some kind of entertainment education, information, some kind of value to your life today, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, remember to seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, through a greater awareness and understanding of the nature of reality and ourselves, so that through that awareness, we can increase the quality of our lives and the lives of those around us. Also, remember to seek to discover the lost wisdom of the ages and the mysteries of our history, ladies and gentlemen. And be sure to expand the description below the video to get this book for yourself so you can put it on your shelf if I don't knock everything over. And follow along in future episodes, as well as just to have for personal reference. And that is Amazon link down below. I'll get a few cents if you decide to go through that, as well as a link to my Etsy shop and C60 Purple Power. Also, I mentioned last week in my video about my YouTube channel for my painting tutorials, which was, I was just having fun. I never mentioned the name of it. So if you'd like to check out me doing some Bob Ross style painting tutorials, the channel is CLC Paint. CLC Paint, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, thank you so much. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. And hopefully, I will see you tomorrow as we continue our series into Hermetic philosophy and the Kabbalah. All right, till next time, ladies and gentlemen, be the change you want to see, be the example you want to set. Thank you. No, 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 no.